Are we rolling? Okay, Gary, thanks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to strap up and get ready for this next conquest with Admiral Trench. And today we're going to give you all the tips, tricks, tools you need to get this guy for free in this next conquest cycle. We're gonna go over feats. I'm gonna recommend feats to skip. We're also going to have resources to give you a daily step-by-step plan to make sure you're on track for a trench. The good news is he doesn't seem all that hard to get. There's not a crazy amount of dumb feats. There are a few, but if you have Separatists, Sith, Scoundrels and Rebels, and Inquisitors, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. But don't worry, even if you're not going to get Trench unlocked right away, I have a feeling a lot of folks are going to be able to get him unlocked in the next conquest cycle. So if you're ready, pull out your pimp stick like Admiral Trench, click on that like button, and let's get this show on the road, huh? Trench is going to be a huge Separatist support character for Newt Gunnery, Count Dooku, Wat Tambor, Jango Fett. You know the drill. If you don't, there's a card in the top right-hand corner for the Admiral Trench kit reveal. But unlike a normal Legendary event, we got to put in several months of effort. And we're going to look over the rewards first to kind of give you an idea how long it might take you to get this guy unlocked. I'm going to leave some links down below if you want to download these graphics. Feel free to do so. So just a reminder, in case this is your first conquest in a while, you're pushing really hard. In hard mode, if you go for maxed out crate, 630 key cards needed. And as we're going to go over, you can skip a total of 34 key cards. I'm going to give you a few suggestions of what to skip, like Ewoks. Ewoks does not look like a ton of fun. And if you get maxed out crate for 3 conquests in a row, you're going to have 270 shards. So that means you got to get 60 more shards somewhere else. So every single conquest cycle, you're going to have to pull out at least 20 Admiral Trench shards per cycle through the variety of scavenger nodes you're going to visit. And of course, there's also that $10 pass, which gives even more Admiral Trench shards. So if you want to maybe skip out on a few merchant scavenger nodes, you can do so if you get the pass. What I want to emphasize here, because a lot of folks get kind of demotivated, they get kind of let down if they don't feel like they can get max crate. Let me give you some hope, especially these feats right now. And if you're doing hard mode conquest, I don't think it's going to be too far out of reach to get at least the gold crate inside of hard mode. So gold crate's 530 key cards, 100 less than the max crate, which gives you a lot of flexibility to take what you don't like out. You're gonna get 195 shards of Admiral Trench just through the crate. And as we said, every single cycle of conquest, you're gonna get an additional 20 shards of Admiral Trench. You're gonna have 255 shards of Admiral Trench. So yeah, you're probably not gonna unlock him right away. If you get the conquest pass, you'll have even more, but still not quite enough to unlock Admiral Trench. However, if you remember, when you go to the next conquest cycle and the new unit comes and Admiral Trench is kind of the secondary reward, you can still, assuming the rewards stay the same, you can still get an extra 25 shards. So what that means for the next 3 cycles of conquest after Admiral Trench, if you can still get the gold crate, you're going to get 25 shards per cycle, which means 75 extra, and that will give you just enough to unlock Admiral Trench. What I'm trying to put out there is if you're someone that's not going to max out the crate, you can hypothetically get Admiral Trench within the next 6 cycles of Conquest for free without having to buy the Conquest Pass or anything. And I think that's going to be pretty reasonable for a lot of people that are already kind of engaging with hard mode Conquest. And real quick, let's show the normal rewards and the easy rewards. I'm not going to go too much over the reward breakdown. If you're doing normal easy mode, you're not going to unlock Trench anytime soon. You need to play hard mode if you want to be on any sort of timeline to get Admiral Trench as soon as possible, or any Conquest character for that matter. But if you're maxing out normal mode, you'll get 25 shards of Admiral Trench per cycle. In easy mode, there are no Admiral Trench shards. So at the minimum, you want to try to do normal mode if you can, to skip out on easy mode. And one more thing, I always get this question, should I go for normal mode or hard mode? You're not going to max out hard mode, let's say. Should it be better to go for normal mode? What I tell people is, if you already, let's say, max out normal mode, it's better to go to hard mode then and just get the first crate. The first crate rewards in hard mode are better than the normal rewards on the max crate. So that's the threshold. If you think you can get at least the first crate in hard mode, do it. It's going to be better than all the rewards in normal mode and beyond that. Part 2 of the video, after looking at the rewards, is taking a look at the feats. So as we summarize, I'm a little bit upset. There really isn't much of a theme going on. This usually with the new Conquest unit, they kind of have a theme. You know, with both of them, there was a lot of Scoundrel stuff or whatever. I was expecting a lot of Separatist and Galactic Republic stuff. That's not going to be the case, unfortunately. I think that would be too easy in CG's mind, because a lot of people have Galactic Republic and Separatist and Jedi and stuff like that. There is a little bit of theming. There's a few Separatist things you're going to have to knock out, but generally the whole structure is going to be Inquisitors. Unfortunately, they're here to stay for us. These feats, droids, rebels, scoundrels, Sith, smugglers, kind of what we're looking at here. And a lot of this is not going to be too unbearable. It's mostly just sheer quantity and repetitiveness over and over again. That's going to be the overbearing factor here. And just a reminder, you need 630 key cards to get that max crate, assuming you're shooting for that, which means you have 34 key cards you could skip out, or if you're going for that gold hard mode, that means you have 134 key cards you could skip out somewhere looking at these sector and global feats. The global feats, I feel like are actually pretty manageable. I wasn't crazy about the global feats last time. I think you should be getting every single global feat here. You're gonna need C-3PO, R2-D2, defeating 500 enemies, 40 battles of full Separatist characters, 40 battles of full Sith. Should be very manageable for a lot of people. And then you gotta use the booming voice, use no leader for 40 battles, get massively overpowered, and then using Trip and BT could be the tricky one, but everyone should have a 3-star BT if you're in hard mode at least. Taking a look at the sector feats is likely where we're gonna wanna trim out those areas that you're not too keen about. Sector 1, nothing too unbearable. Unfortunately, there are Inquisitors, so you know, if you haven't gotten the memo, Inquisitors are important in the game. You're gonna need a lot of target lock, so you could potentially use Bad Batch if you wanted to, but it's likely gonna come down to General Grievous being incredibly helpful. Probe Droid, there's a lot of target lock characters. Defense up isn't all that challenging. Ransom is Hondo Ohnaka, and Hondo Ohnaka is the only one with ransom. You gotta get 50 ransoms, and it's not gonna be as easy as the Datacron Hondo. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but not unbearable. And then some other droid things and bounty hunter things of Cad Bane T3 and 4. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I think we're gonna be good here. Sector 2's got a bit of a mixed bag stuff. We got Rebel Fighters, so Mon Mothma, Kyle Katarn, nothing too out of the ordinary. Health steal up, a lot of ways to go about it. Emperor Palpatine, for example, gives health steal up. Lots of thermal detonators, 120 thermal detonators. So for me, I'm likely gonna use Jawas, and hopefully there's maybe a Geonosia node to get a lot of thermal detonators. I think that counts. Damage immunity is a bit more tricky. We got plenty of characters that have a damage immunity, but it's usually sometimes only a singular amount. Then you got Kylo Ren and Moff Gideon stuff. So again, mixed bag stuff. Wish it was more thematic with Separatist and Galactic Republic, but I digress. Sector 3 is where things get a little bit more challenging. Defeat 50 enemies with non-Separatist droid units. So Shorty is going to be kind of important here to have a decent non-Separatist droid lead. Blind's not unbearable. 60 times is a lot, but not unbearable. It's just a chore. No support, it's no problem. Grandmaster's training is very annoying. It's just takes a bit of time. It's just a massive chore. That's all. It's just a chore. Not meant to be fun. You just got to knock it out. But I would have tried to emphasize, hopefully there's a Night Sister node with Old Daka, and you could just, for 5 minutes, let them go to town, get their master's training as much as possible. Let Old Daka keep reviving, and you can probably max this out pretty easily instead of just doing 1 or 2 at a time. So you're going to need to cheese a node somewhere. And then we have a couple rebel things of Admiral Akbar and Han Solo. So here, probably nothing that you're going to want to skip if you're going for max crate. And here's where Sector 4 comes in, where I will start recommending things that cut out if you're going for max crate. We have Hutt Cartel stuff, which can be a bit challenging if you don't have a Jabba the Hutt. No attacker is not that much of a problem, but Ewoks 100%. I'm likely going to skip out on. So far, I'm doing all the global feats, it looks like. I don't want to use Ewoks. And especially in Sector 4, I'm not too keen on it. If it was Sector 1, maybe Sector 4, I'm likely not going to waste my time. And also, I'm probably going to skip out on Torture. Torture 50 times is a torture to do. It takes a long time to get that much torture. We only have 2 torches in the game. You have Trip and you got Grand Inquisitor. So right there, that's 20 key cards. I'm maxing out of at least my personal grind. And likely that's gonna be for a lot of people. Ewoks and torches, get it out. And then we got a couple of Rebel Scoundrel things. Kanan Jarrus, Ezra Bridger, Sana Staros. Not too hard to use Sana Staros, even at low stars. So that should be all right. And people should have at least a 3-star Sana Staros. We're still waiting on how she's going to be farmable, of course. And then we have Sector 5, where we have to defeat 50 enemies of smuggler units. Not unbearable. Plenty of smugglers out there. Purge takes a bit of time. Again, not unbearable. It's just a lot to do. Evading 100 attacks isn't that bad at all. Fracture 40 times. Another one of those master's training chores. What I would recommend here, if you're trying to knock this out as fast as possible, use Thrawn Lead, because Thrawn Lead gives tons of turn meter when they're getting debuffs on him. Also has the maneuver, which lets him take a ton of turns, and you can probably get a good couple of fractures out per battle. Darth Revan's randomly on it, which isn't all that bad. Lots of people have Darth Revan, so that's cool. Darth Revan, Darth Vader. So I've only recommended 20 key cards to skip out Ewok and Torture. So that's kind of good. There's not a lot of things that are unbearable, so that gives me another 14 key cards to skip out somewhere for that max crate. So I'm feeling pretty good that this is probably going to get a pretty decent turnout in terms of initial unlocks in the next couple months this year. And lastly, I have a daily plan guide that I want to make sure is on your radar. Some people, they like having a checklist of things that they're told to do on a daily basis to stay on track to get max crate. I got you, and I'm going to recommend this resource every single time we talk about Conquest. It is the best resource for Conquest. Bit Dynasty has a whole YouTube channel that's pretty much dedicated towards like galactic challenges, and they have amazing resources on Conquest as well. And they have a website, SWGOH for Life, where they're going to post video guides on every single sector. They have a daily plan telling you what they recommend to do on a daily basis, showing you what you're going to be completing. And the great thing is it shows you what your progress is going to look like by the end of the day. Very motivating. Again, every single day they got something planned out for you. And look, on day 7, look how far they got you already in the global feats. So highly recommend check out Bit Dynasty, Conquest tips and daily videos, and maybe there's gonna be some challenging sectors. They also show the Conquest feats, so if you need some suggestions on teams to use, they get some Sith teams, they got some R2D2 stuff, they have some non-leadership stuff to show you guys. And of course they have recommended data discs as well. It's looking like it's gonna kind of mimic the last season where it's all about durability, jacking up your health, your durability, zealous ambition, nothing too different from last time. And this is great too. If you're coming across an enemy leader and you just kind of want an idea how fast they are, you can type in the enemy leader and they'll try to give you suggestions on how fast they might be. Like in Sector 1, Grand Inquisitor somewhere between 291, 373 speed. In Sector 5, 496 to 660. And then they give you some suggestions on what possible counters you can use for Grand Inquisitor or whatever it might be. So if you want to look up Darth Revan, type in Darth Revan, and again, they're going to give you suggestions on possible counters, how fast they might be. Best resource for Conquest that I've seen thus far, and I recommend it for you guys. And again, link down below to both Bit Dynasty's channel and this amazing website they've developed. All right, so you're ready to do your chores that mommy and daddy over at Capital Games has told us to do for the next month? Well, let me tell you, we got you. We got you covered. We got everything laid out for you, and I'm hoping that lots of people can get Trench unlocked the first time around, or as we showed, don't be demotivated. Just because you're not unlocking him right away, you can still unlock him in a month and a half after Trench is already out. Thank you for stopping by. Leave that like, comment down below on other motivation or other tips or just how you're feeling about this Conquest, and be sure to subscribe to our ever-growing empire. And I guess you can say that it's great to be in the Empire today. Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets. We dominate.